Speaking of that, let's jump on to Spence Crawford. I know that's it's obviously at the time of this taping, it's less than 2 weeks away on July 29th. Today's the
Yeah.
17th. So the guys, I think they're coming this week to They're coming this week to Las Vegas. I'm based out of Vegas, so they're all headed out here to acclimate. It's extremely hot out here right now. But obviously these guys are warriors and they're prepped and ready. They're going to be prepped and ready for the fight. Before you say who you got, what do you think? What do you think first when the fight finally got made?
I was hoping that it didn't happen. What happened with Pacquiao and Mayweather?
Yeah,
Because they fought, but they fought when it was late. Like peak of the Mayweather Pacquiao was 2009, 2010. Everybody
yeah,
was talking about it. Everybody, both in their prime, and Pacquiao was looking good. He was knocked out. He knocked Miguel Cotto out in 2009. He was good. Everybody was looking good, but and then you got Pacquiao that fought Marquez and got knocked out. Then now it doesn't carry the same weight that it was carrying for that knockout.
yeah.
It took too long, but I mean, I'm glad they did it because maybe it will um, get other fighters to do the same when they're in their prime. Because that's the
Yeah.
thing about boxing that nobody wants to fight nobody. It's not like MMA or the UFC where it's a company, so they're able to make each other fight, and then it don't matter who wins. Their stock is still there. In boxing,
Yeah.
it's just it's different. Everybody wants to keep that good record and not fight nobody, and you can do it for so long, but sooner or later you're gonna fight somebody, and when you fight somebody, then it's gonna be a whole different world. Um, but I mean, it's good. It's gonna be a good fight. Um,
What do you think
I
of
don't
the
know.
matchup? What do you think of like their skill sets? Like who do you think has the advantage in terms of skill sets, or is it
So
just a 50-50
so
fight?
I think Crawford has the better skill set, and I say that because Crawford is able to go southpaw and still look good.
Oh yeah.
And and people don't understand how hard that is. Like I do it in sparring, and I'm tiring as it's still tiring because you're not. It's not just switching. Now your brain is working twice as hard. Because even though me personally as a southpaw, I get it. It's your hit to hit your opponent, but it's also you got to be careful with a lot of other stuff that you usually you would not be aware of when you're an orthodox fighter.
Yeah.
Um, but also like my number one rule is don't ever go southpaw against a southpaw. That's my rule. But I mean, I know Errol Spence is a southpaw. I don't know if Crawford's gonna go southpaw against him. I don't think it would be smart, but wrong.
Well, he's done it pretty much every southpaw he's fought. He goes lefty. Um,
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
you're right. Yeah,
every see I when I used to work for Top Rank, I used to go out to not only for his fights in Oklahoma, but I went out uh, to actually his house, checked out his neighborhood, been to his gym multiple times, and his story. I mean, I'm sure he's told the story before, but we did it in an interview when we were out there. Is that when I think he was like 10 years old, he busted his right arm, and he couldn't. They told him he couldn't box because it was broke. It was broken, right?
yeah.
So all he did was go in the gym. This is his mentality. For instance, the time he was a little kid, not he didn't just stop like most kids would be. So, oh, I can't box. I'm just gonna wait, right? No, he went in the gym, and for 3-4 months, that's all he did was fight left. So he
There you
was
go. I didn't know that. That explains a lot right there.
yeah, and so as a little kid, he's setting up those pathways in the brain to learn how to fight left, and that's how he mastered the left hand as well as the right. So yeah, he's pretty impressive. So So what do you think? What do you think gives Spence the advantage? Just like in a perfect world, if it's Spence's night, what are the advantages Spence has over Crawford?
I think he's just physically bigger. Um, I could be wrong. I haven't seen them both together, but like off fights that I've seen, looks physically bigger than Crawford.
Yeah,
Um, he's southpaw. He's a little bit more technical than Crawford southpaw because Crawford fights southpaw is kind of sluggish. I
yeah,
feel that kind of like that Pacquiao way. Uh, and Spence is more of a straight punches, get out of the way. I don't know, man. Like it's gonna be a really high end chess match, and whoever makes the first mistake is gonna pay for it. Um,
yeah.
you know,
I,
yeah,
I've I've spent very little time in terms of like being around Spence. I was at the fight when he fought. I just drew a blank. What's his name? Mikey in
Garcia.
Dallas. So
Yeah,
yeah, I was working for Fox as a producer, and so got a little time to spend with him. And I've been around, when he makes appearances at fights and stuff like that. And I always like to observe people and the fighters. And um, he's uh he's definitely confident, and he's got his set way of fighting. Like he's extremely proficient. He's extremely technical in the way he fights. Like he is definitely well trained. He's well disciplined. He knows his strengths, and he sticks to those strengths. And lately, and I would say the past couple fights when Ugas caught him, he he didn't used to get caught at all, and so that's one of the things where if he would have if he would have fought Crawford right when Crawford won his belt, what was it? Actually, hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. I'll show you this. Let's see. Uh, all right, so we got so Crawford. So check this out. Crawford won his belt against Jeff Horn in 2018, right?
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
pardon the what kind of ad is that? Uh 2018. That's when he won. That's when he stepped up to welterweight and he won. So from that moment, he he was but that's what everybody wanted, right? Everybody wanted that fight. And it's my opinion is I mean I'll say it. I think Terrence is going to win the fight. I think it's not. I think it's going to be more like Hagler Hearns um,
Really?
versus. I think it's going to be more Hagler Hearns than Hagler Sugar or Hagler Sugar Ray Leonard, right? I just think that, and this is because I've been around him. Like I said, I've been to his house. I've talked to his mom. I've been in his house. I've had his mom's fried chicken. I've been around the guy, and I've talked to his mom. And it's the same thing that I feel about like Tyson Fury. Like um, Terence Crawford, his father was a boxer. His grandfather was a boxer. His mother, check this story out. And I haven't heard anybody talk about this because to me, it's there's pedigree. There's like your genetics, and then there's the way you're raised, right?
Yeah.
So Terrence, when he was a little kid, he got beat up, right? And he comes home crying. You know what his mom does? And Terrence grew up in the hood. Like, I mean, his mom still lives there. This is hood. Um, his mom takes him by the ear, drags him down to the street to the kid whose house who beat him up, knocks on the door, gets the kid out, and Terrence couldn't leave until he beat that kid up.
Wow.
Crazy story. That's his mom. That's the mother he grew up with, right? And so he's just got this will that is so say it's a 50-50 fight, right? It's 50-50 fight, skill wise, there's no difference. So what is the it factor? To me, the it factor is the fact that Terrence is a pedigree above Spence, right? I think that he just has like he's the kind of guy that will go to hell, that will die to beat a guy. Like you're just not going to
Yeah.
beat him. He's undefeated. And you're just if you take it up a notch, he's going to take it up too. And that's just the way I've seen him his whole career. And I just feel like Spence has never taken the fight. And there's a lot of people who are Spence fans, and I get it, dude. I am not taking anything away from Spence. I think Spence is a phenomenal talent, and I take nothing away from him. So when it comes to Terrence, I got to look at what is that it factor between the two guys. And to me, like I'm putting my money on Terrence, and I think Terrence is by the time we get to the 10th, 11th, 12th round, Spence is going to be struggling to figure out how to fight Terrence because Terrence has that quick, snapping punch that hurts. He's going to be working the body for 11 rounds.
Yeah.
And just like he did to Benavidez, but I don't think he's going to mess with him this time. I really don't think he's going to like he messed with Benavidez for rounds until he decided, okay, now I'm going to knock your ass out. I don't think he's going to mess with Spence that way. I think he's just going to hurt him. Man, he's made him wait since 2018. That's 2018. Spence could have been, or Crawford could have beat him. He could have been a lineal champion, 2 times, like back to back, basically. He could have had big fights across the entire welterweight division. So that's money out of his pockets. That's championships out of his pockets. Terrence not going to forget. He's that type of guy that he's not going to forget that, right? So he's going to make him pay. He's going to make him pay for waiting because the guy who didn't want the fight, and this is probably because I mean I know people within the boxing community, but just in general, Spence didn't want the fight. He's delayed the fight, just like Mayweather delayed the fight with Pacquiao. I mean, it doesn't matter. The fight happened, right? But at the same time, you look at the fights were purposely delayed by the guy, by the A side. And I think Crawford is just the type of guy who's going to make him pay for all those years that you took away, that he could have made more money, that he could have been the lineal champion. I mean, and all these people. I remember when Terrence won at 140, right? He won the belts. He was at the top of the world, right? Everybody loved that guy. And then all of a sudden he gets up to 47, and then the fights don't happen. Then he's fighting Amir Khan. I mean, he's fighting guys that everyone's like, come on, dude, you're just fighting a bunch of nobodies. Well, all those nobodies, he kept on fighting because he couldn't get the PBC guys.
Yeah.
And now he's got it. And I just think he's going to make him pay. I think he's going to make him pay. I think Spence is going to. I mean, if Ugas can get to him, and Ugas is a good fighter, they're going to take nothing away from Ugas. If Ugas can get to him, Spence is going to have trouble with Terrence. He's going to have trouble. He's probably going to win the first couple rounds because Terrence starts slow. But Terrence may, because he's had so much time to think about him, I think he may end up just going at him. He may just end up going after him after 2 rounds instead of waiting his typical 4 rounds to go at him.
Yeah, Crawford sometimes don't care. He just goes out there and just gets to the point, you know.
Yeah. And when he beat when he beat Porter, and his dad threw the towel in, right? I mean, Porter was still good, but he knew what was coming. The guys within the industry, they may not say it because they want to be politically correct or they don't want to piss off anybody's side, right? Because everybody wants to get along behind the scenes, right? They may not say it, but it was very telling when Mr. Porter threw that towel in and stopped that fight, stopped Sean from getting seriously hurt, right? He didn't do that against Spence. You know, they went at it for the full 12 rounds. So to me, it's like he may come out, Mr. Porter, and talk about the equality between the two fighters, but I'm sorry, that was very telling to the guys within the industry when Spence's father threw in that towel right away. It's like, because Terrence is at another level. He will hurt a guy. He loves to hurt people, and he will hurt a guy just because that's his instinct. He will do it. And so I just feel that. So I could be wrong, but so yeah, it's just one of those things where I really feel like Terrence is going to punish him. He's gonna punish him.
It's gonna be a good fight. It's definitely gonna be a good fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna be good. So what do you think? Are you willing to put yourself on record and give a prediction? There's so many guys that will
Ah,
not do a prediction. It's up to you,
yeah.
man. You don't have
No.
to.
So I don't care. I'll do it. I mean, I could be wrong, but like I said, I just prediction. Uh, I mean, there's a high possibility of the fight going to the distance, and even if it does, I have Crawford winning. But there's also a high possibility if anybody gets knocked out, it's going to be the later rounds. And
Yeah.
I believe Crawford's going to be able to stop him in the later rounds, 9 or 10. That's
Yeah.
what I think. Just because that's assuming if he's busy, like he usually is. Now, like I said, I don't like as an orthodox fighter, I don't fight southpaws if they're a southpaw, but they bring up a good point that Crawford has done it. He's that talented. He's that good at being a southpaw because people don't understand southpaw it's hard. Like if you're not a natural southpaw, that's a lot of work. You have to just
Yeah.
practice, practice, practice. Make it stick to your brain. Like practice and do it. Because it's not just doing it. Just because you know how to fight southpaw, don't mean you know how to. You're gonna get tired probably faster because brain's working twice as hard, going the other way now. And
Yeah.
Crawford's able to do that. Uh, and maybe Spence is not going to be able to adjust to go on, from southpaw to orthodox, back and forth, back because that is the thing. As fighters, that messes with us. And I think Crawford should be able to get the stoppage 9 to pound or the distance, but I have him win.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I just it's one of those things where the fight makes me smile. It's like
Yeah,
finally.
yeah, yeah.
Finally. I
Definitely.
actually I took off work. I like anybody that asked me to work on those days, anybody come any calls come in, I'm like, nope, sorry.
Nice. And it's funny because my fight was originally 29th, and then they
Oh
announced the
yeah.
fight, so they switched it to 8.
Oh hell yeah. You
Yeah.
can't fight on that
Hell no. I
night.
was like, hey, I was already thinking like, fuck, man. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm thinking of heading out there to Vegas for the fight the next day after my fight. We'll see how everything.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be packed out here. I can't imagine how
Yeah.
packed it's gonna be. So yeah,
One,
it'll
one of
be
my
it'll be
one of
awesome.
my buddies matchmaker, so we might have the plug right there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Let me know, dude. I'm
Yeah.
always ready.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we for the Canelo Plant fight, it was a matchmaker, and he got us in.
Oh, that's
Great.
cool.
Got his
That's
little
cool.
bracelets and everything. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I
we'll
have a
see how everything goes. Yeah, definitely.